SaharaTV this Saturday. We have on the phone line right now the pastor of a church in Houston, Texas. The name of the church is called the Liberty Gospel Church. His name is Pastor Godwin Umotong, and he will say hello to our audience.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear
Hi.
us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Well, we want to talk to you today about the revival that you have planned at your church. For our viewers, just for some background information, Pastor Godwin has organized a revival in his church in Houston, Texas, where he has invited the overseer of the Liberty Gospel Church ministry. It's an international ministry. The pastor who oversees this church, her name is Pastor Helen Ukpabio. And Pastor Godwin, can you just give a background about your overseer?
Overseer Lady Apostle Fabio. She's a highly anointed minister of the gospel. She's the founder of the ministry, Liberty Gospel Church. And then she's nurtured the ministry to grow to be a great ministry with branches all over the world. She's in Ghana, Cameroon, Italy, South Africa, and other places.
It sounds like you guys.
Yes, we're everywhere. That's what the Great Commission says.
Right.
I should spread the gospel to all the nations.
Okay. Well, I know that for March, but I've been told that it's been moved back to May. You all want to do some extra preparations. Is that correct?
That's very correct. For logistic reasons, we had to move it to the summer.
Okay.
And then that's it.
Well, we actually have a flyer of the event. I hope that's on the screen right now so our viewers can take a look at the flyer. But basically, this revival is for people who are experiencing nightmares. They're being attacked by mermaids and water spirits and other evil spirits, people experiencing financial disasters, people who are under witchcraft attacks, bad dreams and bondage, all sorts of things. So, Pastor, can you give us a sense of why you all want to conduct this deliverance type of ministry and what you all are hoping will happen?
Okay, Liberty Gospel Church is a deliverance ministry, so that's basically what we do. And the Lady Apostle has been specially anointed to do that. And then there are people who have problems, and some of the problems we experience in life are regular problems that every other person experiences.
Okay.
But there are other problems that people have that have spiritual roots.
If I can just jump in, are you all planning to conduct exorcisms of spirits, water spirits and such?
Well, if you choose to use the word exorcism or deliverance, whatever I want, but what we think is that problems could be non-popular problems to the problem have, and problems could have spiritual roots. And for those who have problems, so some people know about that problems, feel everybody do the same thing.
Okay.
But for those who have problems, intractable problems, they fight solutions all this while. This type of a program is the program for them where they can have deliverance.
And I know one thing about Pastor is well known as someone who believes that children can also be witches as well. So can you just give us, for someone who has no idea about how a child can be a witch, can you explain?
What happens is in affliction and the possession. When you talk about witchcraft, that's a different world altogether. And when you bring in children into that perspective, it adds another dimension. And the Lady Apostle Helen Ukpabio is not or does not preach children witchcraft. She does not preach that. She preaches demonic possession, which everybody goes through. And then an attempt by some groups to link her to the affliction that children suffer in Africa is wrong, very wrong, and very misleading. There is nothing like that. She doesn't attack children. She doesn't attack witches per se. Even the adult witches, she has no business with them. If somebody is possessed, as we have the program for deliverance, if somebody does not consent to deliverance, such a person does not go through anything, does not have any prayers.
So do you think that children can be born witches? Is that possible? A
No,
child
you're not,
from the womb?
you can never be born a witch.
Okay.
It's not possible. Then somebody can be initiated into witchcraft. Somebody cannot be born a witch.
So a child, will that child knowingly be initiated into witchcraft?
Yeah, children could be initiated. It's very possible for children to be initiated. So the issue of witchcraft, well, it's just like churches go about looking for members and preaching and getting people converted to their churches. Witchcraft is just the same thing. They get people into their own groups, and anybody can be brought into such a group. Anybody can be brought to
Well, do you have witches at your church?
At this church?
Do you have witches at your church in Houston, Texas?
No, we don't.
How would you know exactly? What are the symptoms of a witch?
Witchcraft in those days was under the cover of secrecy, serious secrecy. But now there's nothing like that. Now those who belong to that group come out openly to confess their own faith in witchcraft.
Okay.
And it's not even in every witch, it just seems as something so terrible, so wonderful, and there's nothing like that. These so-called witches are regular people like us. They live normal lives like us. And some of them are not even involved in bad activities per se.
Well, you know, Pastor Godwin, do you think that there's a fine line? Do you think maybe perhaps your overseer may be doing a lot in terms of looking for potential witches? Do you think that it can become a form of exploitation if someone is looking for a witch, and maybe the act of exorcism or deliverance could be actually abusive towards the child? If things are being done like cutting the child's hair, making the child bleed and, you know, vomit evil spirits, is that a sign of abuse? Is that a form of abusive behavior?
Well, there are two things here. What Liberty Gospel Church stands for, what the Lady Apostle stands for, and what she preaches and what she does, and what is done outside the church. Okay? What is done outside the church. And as I've said, whatever is done in our church is done in accordance with biblical principles and is done on the basis of deep knowledge of spiritual matters.
Well, if that's the case, then why are people, Pastor Godwin, if things are done in a biblical way, if your church is abiding by biblical principles, then why are groups trying to ban her from entering the United States?
Well, that's a normal thing. That is a very normal thing. There's nothing mysterious about that. As a matter of fact, she does programs which is a normal program and outreach program. That's what she does. She had occasion when this issue of child witchcraft and everything did not even come up in the early 90s, when she had an outreach program that she was organizing and a group.
Okay. Well, actually, what do you think should be said about the people who are trying to ban her from entering? I'm not sure if you know, but there is an online petition asking for the United States to ban her from entering, this country. What do you have to say about that?
What I have to say about that is it's gone out of ignorance and fear. And if you say she's coming here to do deliverance program.
So who is afraid? Do you think the witches are afraid? Are they the ones who are behind the petition?
Yes, they're afraid. It's not because of whatever the group is, because I know that a group that has come up openly against it, like, what do you call them? The atheists and the humanists, they've come out openly, and they're based in London. They're very vocal. They are very much on the way. That is true. There's nothing new. It's the same old fight. The same old fight that has been in biblical times. That's what is continuing till now. And the church called Liberty Gospel Church has gone through all phases of that. What is happening now is the internet phase of that same fight. And the origin of the fight is the same. The target of the fight is the same. The only difference is the method of operation, which is the internet now. That's all.
Well, you were saying that, Pastor Godwin, you were saying that everything about Liberty Gospel is biblical. So I understand that you all believe that you are agents of God, agents of the light. So would you say that people who are trying to ban her are being satanic? Are they being influenced by a satanic force to try to ban her from trying to deliver people from witchcraft?
Yes, I'm saying that everything that pertains to Liberty Gospel Church is above board and is 100% biblical.
So what about the people who are against you? Where are they from? Are they satanic? Are they demonic?
Okay, I don't label people names. I would not even try to do that. People, even like in this country, ministers of the gospel in this country, who are not even involved in spiritual warfare, they are just preaching plain gospel. They are being attacked left, right, and center. What do you make out of that?
Okay.
If you are a child of God, if you are preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, if you are in ministry in one form or the other, whether you like it or not, you go through battlefield in the spiritual realm.
Well, I know that when she was...
Once you are talking about deliverance ministry, that's an open warfare. That's an open field for spiritual warfare. So for people to say that she's been coming to this country for the past 8 years or so,
right.
She ministers every time she comes. Who has said anything about it? Nobody mentioned anything about her ministry or saying anything wrong or preaching wrong or anything like that. She's been doing deliverances, nothing happened. But now people, because that thing is advertised, he's going to do deliverance, and people don't want to lose their own members from whatever kingdom they're operating from. They don't want to. So they have to do anything they can to stop it. And nothing can stop it. It's not
so you think this is spiritual warfare?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I have one question. I have one question for you. You said that you don't have witches in your church, correct? So the people who are coming for deliverance, how are they being attacked? Where are the witches attacking them and the mermaids attacking them?
I don't get the question. Can you rephrase the question again?
I'm saying that you said that you don't have witches at your church in Houston, Texas, right? So
that's true.
Right. So the people who are being attacked by witches and mermaids and evil spirits, where are the attacks coming from?
Well, we're not interested in the source of the attack. What as the poster says, people have problems, and some of those problems have demonic roots, have spiritual roots, and those are the problems that need solution. And this program is to find solution to those problems. You're not interested where the source comes from. Who is interested? You're not interested. And you're not interested in tracing. If you know the source of what this is that, you just know the weapons we use in the spiritual warfare. The name of Jesus Christ, the blood of Jesus Christ, and then set people free, which has been happening.
So do you think that there are demons in Texas who are attacking the people in your church? Because I'm sure you want to help them. I'm sure you want to help your people. So where are the demons?
Where are the demons?
Yeah, where are they? Where are the mermaids, by the way? Are they in the Gulf of Mexico?
Where were the demons in the biblical times? Have you read the Bible? Where
sure, of course. There's a story where Jesus put the demons in the Bay of Pigs.
Where were those demons? Where did they come from?
Well, in the Bible, they seem to be everywhere.
And send those demons into swine, and they ended up
exactly.
Where were those demons from?
Exactly. And just like you mentioned, the Bay of Pigs, where Jesus put the demons into the pigs. Will Pastor Helen do that? Will she put the demons into animals close by? I know Texas had a lot of horses, so maybe she can put the demons there. Like, where would they go? Where do you want them to go? Because once the demon leaves a church member, where is the demon going to go?
Is that a problem where it goes?
Right. I think it's a serious problem. We don't want demons flying around. So what do you think that the Bible would say about it? Because what if the demon goes into you?
Okay, let's ask a question. The situation where Jesus cast out demons and directed them into the swine, we know the story that surrounds that incident. And you don't hear in the Bible at any other instance that a similar thing happened. Is that correct?
Right,
so you know in the Bible that our Lord Jesus Christ had been delivering people of evil spirits from time to time. Why did he not use one method? Why did he not use one exit strategy and things like that? Every situation is different. The origin of this attack come from different origins, and the exit or the end point is different.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, people have been freed from whatever bondages they're suffering from, and that is what the Liberty Gospel Church stands for.
Well, you know, Pastor Godwin, for our viewers who want to know, because no one wants to be attacked by a witch, how can they know that the person next to them on the bus is a witch? What are some of the signs? How can you actually identify a witch? Just give us a rundown, a step-by-step maybe, like a 1, 2, 3 protocol.
Okay, one of the three protocols.
Yes.
The issue is you don't have to be interested in knowing who is a witch or who is not.
Okay.
Who is sitting next to you or who is not sitting next to you. Who is riding the bus with you is not riding the bus with you. Who are you working with? It's irrelevant. What you need to know is that you are a human being, you are physical, and you are spiritual.
Wait, I had to cut in, Pastor Godwin. Pastor Godwin, please allow me to cut in. You said if I'm sitting next to a witch on the bus, it's none of my concern? So,
we should not be your concern. But
if the witch is next to me, of course I'd want to protect myself, right?
Protect yourself from what?
From the witch, you know. You said it's irrelevant. I don't think it's irrelevant to have someone who's a witch next to me on the bus.
I live in a society. I don't bother myself who I'm mixing with, who I'm not mixing with. It doesn't bother me. It does not concern me.
If it doesn't bother you, Pastor, then why are you bringing Pastor Helen over here if it doesn't bother you that there are witches next to you? It doesn't bother you.
The program is not for witches. The program is for people who have problems.
Right. Okay.
And that's it. If you have a problem and you feel you need a solution to your problem, you come for the program and have the solution to the problem. You're not interested. This question of which is glamorizing which they are glorifying witches and it's not important, and it's not even witchcraft that's even the thing we're talking about. The other kingdom is deeper than that. So you don't spend our time, you don't waste our precious time on issues like that.
Okay.
You just know if somebody is a child of God, that person is protected. And that's it.
Well, do you think she's going to... Do you think she's going to be able to come to the U.S.? Will that be possible? Do you think she's going to get the entry?
Why should they bar from coming? America is an open society. How many people are here from
America is an open society, but are you afraid that she might get a lawsuit saying that she's conducting child abuse with what's going to happen at the deliverance?
Well, people will talk about this lawsuit. Should she be sued in the United States or should she be sued in Nigeria?
So do you think she can be charged with child abuse in the United States?
Why should somebody in the United States charge us? What evidence would such a person have?
Well, what evidence? For example, if she comes to the church in May and you have people vomiting, young children vomiting, they're sweating, they're bleeding, doing all kinds of deliverance, some people may say that's child abuse, especially if it's a 9-year-old or a 6-year-old child doing all these extreme practices. Someone can easily say child abuse. Then you have your overseer, facing a lawsuit.
Okay, you're not afraid of that. That's why the courts are there. Let her come and let her do what she wants to do, and let those who want to sue, let them come, and then sue her based on what she will do.
And is she being paid? Will she be paid to do these exorcisms and deliverance? Is this a paid thing?
It's not a paid thing. She comes here to support this place. No, she comes here, she brings money to buy equipment for our movie industry because she just talk about her and deliverance. She's a movie producer, she's a song producer, she's an author of several books. Right. She's a very hardworking lady. So she comes here, she spends her money in this, she's doing money in this country because I work with her.
Okay.
I'm her assistant. I work with her. I know how much money she spends in this country every time she comes. Buying cars for the ministry, buying equipment for the movie industry and the rest of the stuff.
It sounds like she's very busy. Right. Well, what do you think about pastors, Pastor Godwin? What do you think about the pastors in Nigeria? Do you think that some of them are abusing their authority by pronouncing everyone witches and then asking for large amounts of money to deliver you from a witch or a mermaid?
No good minister of the gospel does that type of a thing. No good minister of the gospel does that. And as a matter of fact, this question we're talking about deliverance, we're talking about it on the surface. There are rules, there are guidelines for somebody to follow. When Jesus was here on earth, he did not deliver everybody he saw on the street. Mm-hmm. Even when he saw somebody was blind, he would ask the person, "What do you want me to do for you?"
Right.
The person could be asking for alms, and then he would give the person some coins, and that's what the person wants. If the person says, "I want to have my sight back," that's when he goes on to free the person and give the person sight back. So you use the same principle when it comes to deliverance. You don't go on the street and see everybody as a witch, and it doesn't happen like that. It's wrong. Nobody does that. And the issue of money, well, people who are even talking about money are those who are using the internet to raise money for no just cause.
Okay.
A right minister of the gospel will not mix up money with
ministry. Okay. Well, you mentioned that she wrote a book, Pastor Helen. I know in her book she talks about how to detect a child who's a witch. And in her book she says if the child is feverish at night, if the child sweats a lot at night, it's a witch. What if the child has malaria? What do you say? So do you think sometimes you can misdiagnose?
Well,
because that's what she put in her book. So
yes, there's no clear-cut criteria of saying this. You see somebody who is sweating at night.
If there's no clear-cut criteria, do you think that leaves room for abuse? If there's no criteria, what's the difference between malaria symptoms and witch symptoms? Because they sound very similar, according to Pastor Helen.
Okay, I think you would direct that question to her. There's no question.
You can't answer the question. Okay.
No, there's no question to answer the question. The question, Helen is a medical professional. She knows what she talks about. And when she talks about the spiritual realm, and when she talks about anything that has to do with the human health.
So because she's in the medical profession, you think she can detect malaria versus witch, right? I see.
The only thing I would say is, I wish people would come and then listen to her and then see her minister. Not a question of stories and stories and stories. She does whatever she does on the background of deep knowledge of the scripture and deep knowledge of the spiritual realm.
Well, do you think that a lot of the children in Nigeria who are being accused of being witches are just poor? They're just, dealing with the effects of poverty, Well,
the issue of child abuse in Nigeria is the same thing as we have child abuse anywhere in the world, even here in the U.S. That's why you have child protective services in the U.S. to protect those children from being abused. Here, it happens here. Is this the lady apostle that is responsible for the child abuse in the United States? Mm-hmm. Definitely no. And when they say she made movies that depicted witchcraft and things like that, so that's why people are talking about witchcraft. Okay, so the movie directors in Hollywood are responsible for the murders of people in the United States with the gun. Is that true? This is not true.
Right, you're
right.
So
these are just stories that are cooked up to do whatever they want to do. It's a spiritual fight, and you have to find some reason, some excuses.
Well, Pastor Godwin, for our viewers here who are parents, what should they do if their child is a witch or has a mermaid spirit? What should they do?
Yeah, that's the question. How would they know the child has a mermaid spirit or the child is a witch?
Right.
Why are you talking about witchcraft? Witchcraft is not the only thing in the other world. It's not only witchcraft; it's just a part of the other world we're talking about. It's not if somebody has a spiritual problem, it doesn't mean that it's a witch.
Okay.
Witchcraft is an organized something.
Well, have you ever delivered someone from a witch? Have you done it yourself as a pastor?
I don't bother myself over the authorities. If people have problems and they come to me with them, I pray for them, and that's it. I'm not involved in a exorcism.
So you're not a witch deliverer or a mermaid deliverer?
I don't bother myself with those things. I don't go to night at wondering about mermaids or spirits or whatever.
You said that before, but I find it very strange how you say you're not concerned, yet you have a pastor coming over who's very much concerned. She's in fact your overseer, and she's concerned. So perhaps you two are not aligned in your agenda. She's concerned about witches and mermaids. You are not.
Okay, she's not concerned in that direction. What she's concerned about is people who have problems and they cannot find the solution to that problem. Okay. So that's why she says, bring your problems to a program like that and let such a person introduced to God who has all the power to free them from those problems and those bondages.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you so much. I hear, we're thankful that you were able to come for this interview. So you're saying that this revival is about problems, any type of problem, spiritual, man-made, whatever. You're saying that they're invited to this revival. So we would like for you to keep us posted once you finalize the date, and if she's able to come, of course, we'll keep watching that. So thank you, Pastor Godwin, for coming on to Sahara TV.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the time you've given me to shed a little bit of light on this. And regard those who are fighting her, it's not a new fight, an old fight. They should continue the fight, because the more they're doing, the more I know is that they are publicizing the program even more. And now it gives me a little bit more assignment to do by finding a video that will be able to contain people because of the publicity they have given already. So I thank everybody on whatever side they stand, whatever they stand on the issue is positive. Everybody should just go ahead. I thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. So any press is good press, according to Pastor Godwin. All right, well, thank you again. Take care.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, viewers, that was Pastor Godwin Umotong from the Liberty Gospel Church in Houston, Texas, talking about deliverance, witch hunting, and mermaids. So very interesting conversation. Stay tuned onto Sahara TV. We have a few more things left for you before we wrap up today. Thank you.